If you're ready to reset your home in 2026, like I am, grab a coffee or tea or whatever and let's chat. This is my first time doing an annual home reset without unrealistic expectations. Here is how I'm approaching it differently this year. This last year, I realized that I wasn't failing because I was lazy. I was failing because my expectations weren't realistic for the season of life that I'm in. They may be realistic for somebody else, but for me, they're not. I've always preferred resetting things at the end of the year for the new year versus trying to come up with a whole bunch of resolutions that I'm going to ultimately fail at. I feel like if my systems are working, then I'm not going to fail. We got a baby. Hold on. All right, we're back. You guys will get the lovely background sound of baby Coos. Where was I? I've always preferred resetting versus resolutions because, like, resolutions are just a bunch of promises I'm making to myself that I'm probably not going to keep. Let's be for real here. But resetting my systems, that's something I've already created. It's something that I know works. And if it works, why change it, right? Except the problem is it doesn't work when your expectations are sky high and the season of life you're in does not allow you to get there. I don't have a rocket ship right now. I don't have the energy to have a rocket ship right now. I would try to do everything all at once. And I think that's where I really failed. There was a New Year's Eve when I was living up in North Carolina. I was with my ex-husband and he had 3 kids. And he had full custody, so the kids were with us all the time. And my house, I was also a stay-at-home stepmom. But my house was, honestly, looking back, never a mess. It was rarely a mess. It was very clean. But I saw it differently. And on New Year's Eve, I decided that I needed to do a full top to bottom clean of the house before we were able to go anywhere or do anything to celebrate the new year. And it caused so much turmoil that day. I remember crying and everybody else was upset, and it's not worth it. And I'm glad that I learned that lesson early enough in my life. I wish I hadn't learned it the way that I did, because nobody wants to have a day like I had that day. But it was a really good lesson to learn. And since then, I have slowly tried to lower my expectations based on the season of life that I'm in. But it took a long time for me to get here. And I can thank my current husband for helping me with that, and having kids helps too. I expected way too much of myself. And then I expected motivation to be my carrier. That I wasn't going to wake up unmotivated one day. And we all know that we have those days, especially as moms of really young kids. Some days we are just not motivated to do all of the things. So I was burning out before I was even able to finish resetting my home and my systems. Mentally, I was thinking, if I don't do it all, what's the point? And I'm sure a lot of you resonate with that. This year, I am not resetting the whole house. I'm just resetting how the house supports me. We're doing this one room at a time, starting with what impacts my life the most daily, and moving on to the next as I find a daily issue. We are doing one problem per space. So for example, in my laundry room, I needed it to be less cluttered. And so I decided to create a linen storage in the pantry along with cleaning supplies. And it opened up more space in the laundry room for things that actually make sense to be in my laundry room. And asking myself, what would make this feel easier? finding a place that we could all find all of the hand towels and washcloths and even the bath towels. And I didn't have to fight with the laundry room for all of the cleaning supplies was a necessity in my growing family, especially as we need to switch out towels in more than one bathroom now. And my husband needs his towel to clean things up more often. I'm not the only one who needs to know where things go. I am decluttering, but lowering the stakes on it. So I'm not like trying to purge everything. I'm just trying to do what makes sense in the moment. I am not trying to go full minimalist, just trying to function better in my home. And I'm not worried about whether or not an item brings me joy, because you know what doesn't bring me joy? Well, I guess it brings me some joy because I don't have to go out and buy them myself. But it doesn't bring me joy to store a whole bunch of kids' clothes that my kids are not currently wearing. But I know that they grow fast and they will grow into them. So I'm keeping all of the kids' clothes that I have for them to wear. I have, however, gone through those kids' clothes and I've probably purged about 50% of them because I get clothes from two friends who both have boys. So my kids are inheriting two separate wardrobes. And then I get to go through them and figure out exactly what it is that we like to have for our kids. We're making decluttering a practice. So, like I've told my husband, if he finds something that he doesn't want, he doesn't like, put it in the box, get rid of it. If you find a shirt that just doesn't fit right, get rid of it. He has so many clothes, he can afford to get rid of a few shirts that he doesn't like the way they fit. Why keep them? That's what I've been doing in my own closet, and it's kind of what I'm trying to implement throughout my house. If I find something that just doesn't fit our life anymore, I'm getting rid of it. And we are cleaning for function, not perfection, because a reset that exhausts you isn't a reset. It's like going on a vacation and you come home and you need vacation. You shouldn't need another reset after your reset. Focus on what impacts your daily life. Skip what doesn't matter right now in this season and stop when your energy runs out. I promise you, I'm stopping a lot right now as a mom of two. The hardest part about changing my mindset regarding my annual reset is letting go of the after fantasy. The fantasy that it's all going to be clean all the time, that everything's going to go where it belongs, that people could just come over to my house whenever they wanted and I wouldn't feel stressed about the mess. But life continues. We have kids. Messes happen. I've got animals. Messes happen. My carpets are stained. They're never going to look Pinterest perfect because they're not. I don't live in a Pinterest board. The goal is to have maintenance, not magic. Instead of measuring the results, I'm measuring whether or not my home feels more livable. If my home feels more livable, the reset worked. Some of these metrics of success may look more like mornings feeling easier, finding what I need, making fewer decisions, and having just less mental noise. The mental overload of trying to remember everything all the time is really difficult. And when I have to remember whether or not my husband's work clothes are in the dryer, on the couch, in the living room, in the dining room, instead of him just knowing that they are in his drawer and not having to ask, that's a huge deal. That's a lot of mental capacity that we just don't need to be using. If you've ever tried and quit before, or if your expectations tend to sabotage your follow through, and you want to reset without pressure, join me on this journey and subscribe so you can see the journey for yourself. And let me know down in the comments what's one space that you are going to be resetting gently this week. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, because if you made it this far, you know you want to. I cannot believe it still works. I washed my microphone inside of probably my bathrobe because that's where it ends up a lot, or inside of a pocket of a pair of pants, and it still works. So I'll be linking that down below for y'all, because if you need any sort of external microphone for your iPhone, this one is a winner, and it was like $10. It also comes with two mics. I have not checked the other mic to see if it made it through the wash, but the piece that attaches to my phone and has the connection between the wireless mic and the phone made it through the wash. I didn't dry it, so I haven't tested that, but it got wet, like really wet, and it's all good. So cool.